Hello everyone, this is Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today I had a little bit of a different post for you. I call this one 50 Shades of Gray. And what it is I have a client of mine. Well, I'll just go ahead and I'll read the question and then I'll get to it. It says, when someone like myself decides to do research on gray aliens, it can become a bit confusing. At first it sounds simple, gray, 3 fingers, big head, big black eyes. But then more information pops up like tall grays, white grays, small grays, medium-sized grays, and Palladian-type grays. Not only that, some of them have blue eyes. These may be watchers. So far, I have some of their characteristics written down, but it's hard to tell them apart when it comes to pictures, especially since there's so many interpretations of what they look like online. It can become quite mind-boggling. I put together 50 of the most common images of grays, and I thought it would be neat if you could point some of them out. Wasn't sure if it would be safe for you to put it out there in a public blog post, but I'd personally like to know which one looks like the one who escaped from the observatory. So this person, they spent time, they put together 50 different little pictures of grays that have been out there online. They've compiled this information. They sent it through to me, and what they had suggested was to call it 50 Shades of Grays, and I love the name, so I went with it. What I did was I numbered each one, and I'll put the pictures up on the video so you can see what I'm talking about as I describe them. And I go through them little by little, seeing what pops up. Some of them didn't really resonate too much with me, but then some did have some noticeable things come forward. So I'll go ahead and get started here. So when I looked at these, I mean, the first thing, yes, I agree, it's very overwhelming. I get confused too because there's so many different variations and species. It's like how humans are individual, alien species are like that too. So I'll point out some of the things that came through to me on the picture. First off, number 4 felt very authentic to me. And I get this is just the average gray. The tall, short, light skin, white, etc. are all various variations of the main gray. So you have this main gray, and from there different species have branched off. This is the main root, just general gray when you think of a gray, or I think of a gray. These feel like the oldest, and the one in the picture felt deceased. I don't know where these pictures all came from, but it almost had this mummified feeling to it. So again, I don't know where the picture originated from, but I got that when they pass away, this is the appearance that they take. Okay, so then number 9 came across as a fictional character to me. It looked like something they portray in movies, and it almost had this humorous vibe to it, as if it lacked intelligence. It felt just very cartoonish, or very unnatural, I guess is a better way to describe it. 12 and 14, they look like the tall white grays that I see in my mind. They can be very menacing at times. They do not trust humans, but they like to observe humans, and they're drawn to energy pockets or portals, kind of like a moth to a flame. They feel very attracted to certain areas, and they tend to stay in those specific areas. 13, the Palladian ones look like this in the face with the body shape of 37. They aren't just light, they have very white skin, and I get it has a clammy texture. Like if you were to ever touch a frog, it would be like that, just that very clammy, kind of wet, very smooth skin. That was the thing that really popped out to me. Number 26 really jumps out. These are the most intelligent ones. Most times when I communicate with a gray, they look almost exactly like that picture in my mind, and when I'm actually having what I feel is a communication telepathically with one. Ironically, when I get the shush sign, the one in the picture doing this, that's the message I get when it's I've gone far enough, I shouldn't go further. I need to stop where I'm at, and I sort of heed that warning. I don't want to push the limit. And this gray feels like a protector, or one that wants to watch out for humans and their greater good. Here's the interesting thing though, because I get that grays in this specific species that look like this, there's two types. They started out being very curious. They want to learn about our reproductive system. They want to learn how our emotions work. They have all of these different things. They do the abductions. They can be very cruel and emotionally, I guess, hurtful toward humans. But there's this rogue group that broke free of that, that didn't want to participate in that anymore. And that's the one, when I'm referring to 26, feels like they're more on that branch of the grays. So you have two in that category. One, they do the abductions, they do the experiments, they do that type of activity, but then you have the other ones that feel protective, that they really care about the greater good of humans. They want to give you information, they want to share, they have a more passive side to them. So then 30 felt like a really great artist impression of grays. Most of them look like this. And I get between the species, yes, there are some color variances with the skin, but the main variable is the height. Some feel very tall, some are short, but overall the body shape is very similar, and this picture represented that very well. 31, they're like the shorter grays. I've only seen shorter ones of this type, and they're no taller than about 5 feet when I'm referring to the shorter grays. They're curious, they're not malicious, they're kind of like kids, they're really immature. 35, this picture looks a lot like the shape of the shorter green grays, and this image felt really realistic. 36 also felt authentic, and this could actually pass for a real picture if it isn't already. Again, I don't know where all these pictures came from, but that one could actually pass for one that felt very real versus an interpretation. 41 and 48, they were very much based upon fear. And I get this is the pictures that would be pulled out if they wanted to do some propaganda, get people scared and not want disclosure and all those type of things. So I would fully expect to see those type of images in the event that something was to become more public in our media. 43 look like a kid, and this is how I see the kids looking. And 47, this is what an average gray looks like, along with 26. They both gave me the same vibe. And regarding the observatory, which that was a question that was posed in the beginning, I saw 47, but slightly larger eyes. So if you look at 47, that's what I get escaped in that sunspot observatory that I had discussed in a reading maybe like a week or so ago. If you are interested in that reading, by all means, if you go to the blog and search sunspot observatory closing in the search area, it'll pop up and you'll see that. And that was all I had for this reading. I really look forward to the comments and you guys sharing your experiences. If you've ever seen one, or what you've been able to communicate with, or any kind of knowledge, I think that'll be a really interesting discussion. So I look forward to see that happening. And right now, that's all I have. But thank you for listening. Please feel free to leave a comment, like me, share me, subscribe. All those things, they help me out a lot. And again, this is Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thanks. Bye.